Coming up on Business Daily, Nigeria Federal Executive Council proposes 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget. The NNPCL reaches 1.8 million barrels per day production, crude oil production. Plus, South Africa Reserve Bank to cut rates 25 basis points to 7.75% on November 21. Hello, many thanks for joining us. You're watching Business Daily on LN 24/7. It's great to have you. My name is Amaka Daniels. We'll start off in the news where the Federal Executive Council has proposed the sum of 47.9 trillion naira for the 2025 fiscal year for submission to the National Assembly. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, made this known on Thursday after the council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu. According to the minister, the FEC pegged the price of crude oil at $75 exchange rate of 1,400 naira to $1 and oil production of 2.06 million barrels per day. Bagudu added that with a growth rate of 3.19%, which comes in the second quarter of 2024, the federal government will continue to tackle inflation, strengthen economic resilience, and provide more support for the economy. The minister further revealed that the council also reviewed the 2024 budget implementation, adding that this included promising progress in revenue collection and expenditure management. In addition, the Federal Executive Council approved fresh external borrowings of $2.2 billion, made up of $1.7 billion, and sukuk financing of $500 million. Now, this approval is to strengthen the country's finances and enhance economic reforms. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, made this known on Thursday after the Executive Council meeting on Thursday, presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the Council Chambers State House. Wale Edun, who stated that he submitted 2 memos, disclosed that the external borrowings approval, when finally given by the National Assembly, will grant Nigeria access to the international capital market for some combination of the Eurobond and sukuk financing. Now, the minister also added that Nigeria had showcased the resilience of its financial markets capacity and increased complexity through the domestic issuance of dollar bonds, which according to him attracted Nigerian investors. Edun also stressed that for Nigeria, being able to access the international capital market is an indication of the nation's acceptance and support for President Bola Tinubu's macroeconomic programs. Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed the instruments of accession for 6 conventions of the International Maritime Organization. Now, this action paved the way for Nigeria to officially deposit these instruments of accessions at the International Maritime Organization's headquarters, which serves as a repository for such conventions. According to the president, the move is expected to enhance Nigeria's maritime governance and align its practices with international standards, promoting maritime safety, security, and environmental protection. While formally presenting the instruments to the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, the Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Dayo Moberola, expressed his gratitude to the Minister for facilitating the President's signing of International Maritime Organization conventions after several years of pending in the ministry. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has also praised the Nigerian Customs Service for its significant advancements in revenue generation, noting that these improvements have strengthened the government's ability to finance essential national development projects. Now, the president stated this while declaring open the 2024 Comptroller General of Customs Conference held in Abuja, the nation's capital. President Tinubu, who was represented at the event by the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, also reassured of his administration's commitment to supporting the Nigerian Customs Service in its modernization and reform initiatives. He promised the government's readiness to continually support the service with the necessary policy backing and enablement to strengthen its capacity to deliver on its mandates. Now, the president also affirmed that the Nigerian Customs Service is strengthening Nigeria's position as a trade-friendly nation through strategic reforms, particularly in export promotion and port efficiency. Also, a report by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Companies says the volume of premium motor spirits imported into Nigeria surged in October. Now, this is despite the fact that the Dangote Petroleum Refinery started producing petrol in September this year. OPEC, in its monthly oil market report, said though petrol import still remains at a 60% low when compared to the same period in 2023, there was an increase in the quantity of PMS imported between September and October 2024. Now, recall that some of these vessels arrived on the shores of Nigeria to discharge PMS, especially at a time when marketers were at loggerheads with the Dangote refinery. It was also learned that petrol imports into Nigeria and West Africa came majorly from Europe during this month under review. The international organization also maintained that new product volumes entering international markets from Nigeria's Dangote refinery, China's Yulong Petrochemical, and Mexico's Olmeca refinery are set to lengthen product balances going forward, particularly for gasoline. Still in the oil sector, meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it has reached the mark of 1.8 million barrels per day of crude oil production. Now, the state-owned company, which made the announcement on Thursday, also stated that it is set to hit the 2 million barrels per day target set by President Bola Tinubu by December 2024. The company also revealed that it is now producing 7.4 million standard cubic feet of gas to power the gas infrastructure, especially the ARC. Now, this is an improvement from the 6.1 million standard cubic feet earlier in the year. The NNPCL also noted that the accomplishment which aligns with the government's budget reflects the dedication of all its teams over the past weeks. You're still watching Business Daily, and now the Nigerian government seems committed to transforming its power sector. We'll bring you more details right after this break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching Business Daily. And now the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, urges South African investors and global mining giants to capitalize on Nigeria's revamped mining sector. Represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Maria Ogbe, during the inaugural International Investment Forum and Roadshow in South Africa, Alake emphasized that Nigeria's improved business climate and ongoing reforms present lucrative opportunities. As the minister also outlined, the aggressive promotion of the sector is central to his 7-point agenda, affirming that the strategy has successfully redirected global attention to Nigeria's mining industry, culminating in increased investment and a significant rise in revenue generation for the country. According to the minister, the vision is to establish a sector where global mining giants recognize Nigeria's vast mineral resources and collaborate with the ministry to maximize the benefits of these resources for the citizens and economic development of the nation. And the Nigerian Minister of Water Resources, Joseph Utsev, has pledged to find solutions to the number of issues affecting the supply of water to sugar estates across the country. The minister said supporting the National Sugar Development Council to achieve its mandate in the area of self-sufficiency in sugar production is a task that must be done, adding that his ministry will do everything possible to tackle the identified stumbling blocks. The minister disclosed this in his office when he hosted the Executive Secretary and CEO of the NSDC, Kamara Bakin, and his management team, who came to seek his support in addressing and finding lasting solutions to the issues surrounding irrigation and access to water, which the sugar operators complain about. Specifically, the NSDC boss sought the approval of the minister for a 20 km open canal water conveyance system from River Hajedia to Garagwara in Jigawa State to service the Great Northern Nigeria Agribusiness Limited, which has a 5,000 TCD project in Hajedia. Now, the Executive Secretary noted that the project will create more than 5,000 jobs from its farm and factory operations on completion. Moving on, the Nigeria government has reiterated its commitment to transforming Nigeria's power sector through meaningful and actionable reforms to ensure that policies are not only visionary, but also practical, impactful, and sustainable. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabo, stated this at the 4th edition of the Power Sector Correspondents Association Annual Workshop in Abuja, the nation's capital. The minister, represented by Director of Renewable Energy and Rural Energy Access in the Federal Ministry of Power, Sunday Owolabi, said that the government's policies are focused on ending the challenges facing the country's electricity transmission, distribution, and generation. And according to him, the workshop is not only timely, but crucial for the growth and sustainability of the nation's energy future. Commending power correspondents and other stakeholders in the power sector, the minister called for a critical role in the transformative journey in the nation's power sector, adding that power generation in Nigeria would hit 6,000 megawatts in December 2024, highlighting the path to sustainable grid power. Now, the Managing Director of Azura West Africa, Edu Okeke, also called for critical change as he stressed the need for private sector investments to address the challenges in Nigeria's power sector. Moving to the communications sector, Nigeria's Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy is working towards transforming the digital infrastructure of the country's 774 local government headquarters by 2027. Now, this project, tagged Project 774 Local Government Connectivity, aims to provide reliable and affordable internet access to all local government secretariats, bridging the digital divide and fostering inclusive growth. Now, the project is being executed in collaboration with Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited and Galaxy Backbone under the President's Renewed Hope Agenda. This partnership is expected to leverage the expertise of these agencies to deliver a robust and sustainable digital infrastructure. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, stated this at a stakeholders retreat on Project 774 Connectivity in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Earlier in his presentation, the minister said one of the project's goals is to foster inclusive development and access to public infrastructure in government offices across Nigeria. Moving on, the Lagos State government has committed to expanding its support for retail businesses, highlighting several initiatives to drive sustainable growth, inclusivity, and infrastructural development through digitization, among others. Now, the Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment, Folashade Ambrose Medebem, speaking at the African Retail Congress in Lagos, underscored the role of retail in the state's economy and outlined its government's plan to foster a more enabling environment for retailers. The commissioner, who described Lagos as Nigeria's economic heartbeat, contributing about 30% to the nation's GDP and serving as a significant hub for ambitious retail investments, further highlighted the state's efforts to support a digital retail, particularly through the Digital Lagos Initiative, which aims to provide and improve high-speed internet and literacy. Ambrose Medebem reaffirmed the Lagos government's commitment to public-private partnerships to strengthen retail, adding that collaborative efforts create a more robust and resilient retail ecosystem. You're still watching Business Daily. After this break, we'll take more news for you from Africa and the rest of the world. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching Business Daily. Now in Africa, South African Reserve Bank will cut its repo rate next week as slowing inflation continues to make way for a series of cuts through the middle of next year, spurring growth to almost 2%. Now, a survey by 20 economists in the past week showed the South African Reserve Bank would cut rates by 25 basis points to 7.75% at its November 21 meeting. The repo rate is expected to fall again by 50 basis points in either one move or cumulatively in January and March, followed by a 25 basis point cut at the May meeting to reach 7.00%. Now, inflation is also expected to average 4.2% next year before quickening to 4.5% in 2026. The Consumer Price Index is expected to reach a thorough this quarter and average 3.6%, 0.09% points below the Reserve Bank's 3% to 6% midpoint comfort level before quickening back to target later next year. Now, it was last around this quarter's level in March 2021. Also, option players are piling into riskier bets across the United States stock market, supporting a rally that has come on the back of fading election worries and expectations of a Republican lock of power in Washington next year. The bullish plays span a wide array of assets from electric car maker Tesla to small cap stocks and regional banks. Together, they have helped drive the S&P 500's gain of 3% since the November 5 vote. Many are now shifting to a bullish stance, wary of underperforming a market that has rallied following the victory by Donald Trump and Republican control of both houses of Congress, which has been anticipated following the election. The result is also expected to give Republicans a freer hand in pursuing their economic agenda, which includes tax cuts and looser regulations. The volume on daily call options, which profit when stock rises, has outnumbered puts by a ratio of 1.5 to 1% compared to 1.3 to 1 during the rest of the year, data from Trade Alert showed. Well, that's why we draw the curtains today on Business Daily. Don't forget, you can join the conversations via our social media handles and our content hub at www.ln247.news. I am Amaka Daniels, and I'll see you next time.